بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. In the ayat that we have read, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the beginning of the Quran presented the categories of the human being. It's either believers on the guidance or people who was, fighting within themselves, confused and trying to find the path. And this path, it might be toward Allah or toward more crookedness, those who have illness in their hearts. And the second group are the disbeliever who reached a point of no return. سواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. Is either you warn them or you do not warn them. These people that will not be able to come to the path of Allah as a seal has been already, subhanAllah, put in their heart because of their wrongdoing. Today is the beginning, the first Layla of Ramadan. In which category we should put ourselves? And to be frank with ourselves, sincere. To which category we belong? To the guided one? To the disbeliever? Alhamdulillah, we're not from the category. Because none of you will have been here if he was from that category. But to be frank, to be sincere, to be truthful ourselves, we are from the second categories. Everyone has illness in their heart. في قلوبهم مرض. It's a fact. It's a reality. And we need to embrace this. Because we have, subhanAllah, it's very important to see the effect of the society we live in. Some people, we are compelled, dictated to really talk about yourself in a way of grandeur. Because when you write your resume, you have to put things, I did this, I. And that I, subhanAllah, is, an abyss within the self that digs someone deep into the darkness. The more you say I, the more the iman, subhanAllah, part of the iman goes away from your heart. That we have illness, all of us in our heart. Illness. As we have said in Surah في العشاء قال وآخرون اعترفوا بذنوبهم. They ignored their sins. They mix good deeds and bad sins. This is how we are. The greatest, our mother, Sayyida Aisha, when she was categorized herself, she said, I'm from this category. So this is the true humbleness. But for us, it's a reality. It's a reality because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال فَزَادَهُمْ مَرْضًا, increased their disease in their heart. But for us in Ramadan, we're going to reduce this disease. We're not going to have ourselves to give up and to follow the path of crookedness to have more disease in our heart, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, then we'll be traveling toward the ceiling of the heart. So we want really in this Ramadan to cleanse our heart, to purify our soul, to get rid of this disease that we have. The disease of loving this dunya, the disease of these dreams that has been defined, preset for us, the disease that subhanAllah we want everything like everybody else, the disease that we are scared to not make it because we might not have enough money. When your brother and sister in Gaza, they are giving us the great example of patience and the meaning of to be in connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To acknowledge such a thing is really help you to know who you are. And if you truly know who you are, you will be able to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then your dua, then your connection with Allah will have a foundation, will have basis, will have a true element that will help you to grow. Because if you make dua without knowing yourself, that you'll not be able to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the seed with which one starts is the fear. And what type of fear? The fear to not make it. The fear to not make it. The fear to not be on the path of the guidance. The fear that you might be doing things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not pleased with. Why I'm saying this? Because Allah told us in the Quran. There is an aspect within us that we don't know. Qala subhanallah, imagine these people, hypocrites, they came to them, they said, stop corrupting on the earth. They said, what are you talking about? You are people who do good. we are reformers, we are correctors. They say it from the bottom of their heart. This is what they believe. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered that they are the corrupted, but they cannot perceive it, they cannot feel it, they cannot sense it. How many of us are doing things without even feeling that this bad thing? Cannot. For this reason, we have used, subhanAllah, people, they say, Alhamdulillah, I do my prayers, I make qiyamul layl, I fast. You think that your qiyamul layl and your fasting make you true believers? Actually, when you're talking about, you're already a person who do not have that humility to hide such a thing for yourself between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you might not perceive things that we are doing wrong. And that's how Ramadan come to cleanse us. So the fear to not make it. Umar ibn al-Khattab, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا عُمَرُ الْخَطَّابِ, begging Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, or that the Prophet ﷺ convey for him, and he gave him the secret of the list of the munafiqeen, so he will not witness their, al-janazah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَا تَقُمْ عَلَىٰ قَبْرِهِ أَبْنَا. لَا تَقُمْ, do not stand on the grave of someone who died in that state. And he's begging him to see if he's one of the list. This is the fear that we need. Not the fear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way, because sometimes you say, what type of fear I need to build in my heart to have a fear of Allah? Okay, look at the description of Jahannam, it scares me. But the fear, the true fear, the constructive fear is like, what if you don't make it? What if you come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's what the concern of the companion, Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhi. Umar, he said, if everybody is called, the whole humankind is going to paradise except one, I will be thinking it's myself. That's the fear. And this fear, dear brother, respected sister, not because someone is doing wrong, not because you don't know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept your sujood, if Allah is going to accept your fasting, or you don't know, you have part of your idrak, of your perception, that you might be doing things that's really, really ugly, but you are not knowing it. And that's why, dear brother, respected sister, your truthfulness today is going to, inshallah, to design for you a path of Ridwan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The book that we're reciting is a guidance only for the pious. So when you put yourself in the path of the piety, starting with the fear like Umar radiallahu ta'ala, I'm giving you a great example from the greatest of the companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Having fear, what if you not make it? قَالَ وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ, fearing the standing before Allah. When you come before Allah, you think that your deeds that you had, did you not hear about the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the bankrupt who comes with a lot of mountains of good deeds and everything is gone in front of him because he slayed this one, he did this one, he backbite this one, he gossiped this one, subhanAllah, and so on. So that fear to not make it was going to be the essence of our path, the essence that is going to help you to be serious and to know yourself. Now, 3 elements, and we don't want to make it long lecture, but it's a reminder as the beginning of Ramadan to set our objective. It's very important. As a community together, as a brother and sister, ta'awanu al-birri wa taqwa, in this masjid, inshallah, we try to make it, and make it when we come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will be pleased with this whole community, Ya Rabbil Alameen, all together in the companionship of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَمَا ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِبَعِيدٍ وَلَا عَزِيزٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to do such achievement. If you start with this essence, which is the fear, the first point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the beginning of the surah is Al-Iman bil-Ghayb. قال الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. The fear or the belief in the unseen. What is the pillar of the belief in the unseen? Is Allah. To believe in Allah. Because if you believe in Allah, everything else you believe in it. No. So what is the thing that we need to strive in this Ramadan and the rest of your life? Is to have good thinking of Allah. Many people, they say, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, did Allah forget our people of Gaza? Did He? Are we more merciful to our people than Allah? That's al-Iman bil-Ghayb. That's the Iman of the Ghayb, that we always, Allah is the most merciful. Wallahi, whatever has happened, if all the believers, they will be crushed, all of them burn, as it happened for Ashab al-Ukhdud, Allah is the most merciful. He is the most merciful to them. He is the most compassionate to them. That's why Al-Iman bil-Ghayb is your striving to keep the good thinking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because what is going to cast a person in hellfire, but because he thought ill about Allah. He thought, where Allah when I needed Him? Where Allah think, when they're doing sins, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have that great, that absolute knowledge to know what I'm doing. قال وذلكم ظنكم بربكم أرداكم الذي ظننتم بربكم أرداكم فأصبحتم من الخاسرين. So the iman bil ghayb, let's put one pillar here. If you know that Allah is your Razzaq, He said, I am Ar-Razzaq. So why are you doubting? Because you might think that the rizq, what people define as the rizq, to have a great salary, to have, great, fulfill the American dream. No, the rizq is your iman. Your rizq is your state of heart. Your rizq is your state of soul. Your rizq is within your family, that everyone, respecting each other, loving each other. That is the greatest of the rizq. At the end of the day, you will have that morsel of bread that you're going to put in your stomach, and it's going to help you to keep surviving by the greatness of Allah and the will of Allah. This is the first thing. The second thing, al-imanu bil ghayb. The second one, qala, in the end, qala wa hum bil akhirati hum yuqinun. You see, iman and yaqeen. The yaqeen here has another element. When you are certain of the hereafter, then the hereafter becomes part of your daily time. We think and we believe that the hereafter is something else. Yawm al-Qiyamah is something, is another dimension. Something is going to happen. We believe in it. When? After death. And after death, barzakh. No. Yawm al-Qiyamah is here, is today. When you are muqin bi Yawm al-Qiyamah, you live Yawm al-Qiyamah today. It's part of your time that you live. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't create you here, and then it's gonna, subhanAllah, break of existence, and then He's gonna bring you back. No, it's the same existence, it's the same element. كيف تكفرون بالله قال you were dead and Allah brought you back, brought you to life, He gave you this life. Then He's gonna cause you to die, then He's gonna get you back alive. So you see, and then. So it's one trend, one system, one line. So why we always think of this dunya and the akhirah is something else? No, the akhirah is today. So bil akhirati hum yuqinun, you live your qiyamah today, which is mean your choices, your planning, your thinking need to incorporate the akhirah. Allah is watching you. One of the great scholars, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, the one who will not enter paradise in this life, he will not be able to enter it in the hereafter. The one who does not love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala today, how you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to love you the day of judgment? What is the paradise in this dunya? In the meadows of the dhikr. If you find the sweetness of the iman, then you're going to be in paradise. So if you do not enter paradise in this life, which means that you'll not be able to enter it in the hereafter, which is one segment, one time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's seeing you when you sajid, and then you're going to welcome you subhanahu wa ta'ala. 3 stages. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu dhkurullaha dhikran kathira. Rahmah from Allah. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much remembrance as you are able to. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He's the one who conferred His blessing upon you and His angel to get you out of the darkness to the light. And then the time, look. اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا هو الذي يصلي عليكم وملائكته. Then what it comes? تحيتهم يوم يلقونه. The greeting, His greeting subhanahu wa ta'ala to you, when He will see you, He'll be salam. One segment of time. وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُقِنُونَ. Think about it. We are in the beginning of Ramadan. Incorporate the akhirah as part of your life. The last one is to hear and obey. And hear and obey, your brother, respected sisters, that's what it means, Islam. That's what is going to purify and correct that wrong perception, the thing that you cannot perceive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us in many ayat in the Quran, when someone comes to death, He said, now he realized that was the truth. Many people, subhanAllah, after they've been scammed, they say, oh, now we realize, because they could not perceive it before. The way how you correct the perception is to truly obey. And the whole first chapter of the Quran, telling us how Bani Israel, they didn't respect this third pillar. They didn't listen and obey. They said, we heard and we disobey. قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَعَصَيْنَا. Stubborn, they follow their whims. They want, subhanAllah, to turn the thing in their favor. They want their prophet to follow their desire. They want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to answer their dua that they want, but not to surrender to Allah. That is the impediment. That is the disease of Bani Israel, that if it spread into our heart, then we will not be able to be pure. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cleanse our heart and purify our soul and give us iman and ihtisab, elevate our ranks, and inshallah make us from the pious and to the salah yarhamukum.